Yeah, this is a very scary thing that's going to happen. So.
Yeah, it is. It is. I think you're right to be a little concerned for Sim. I wasn't that concerned before I didn't really understand it. So I was like, well, okay, I can't always press Stand Fierce, but I can whiff my jab and then your Dragon Punch comes out. But that's not true.
For Stalsum, it's not because
Right.
it's too far away. You're
Right.
not going to trigger anything.
Exactly. You can't trigger proximity block from that far. So it definitely does suck for Dalsum. So what it means for Sim is that the opponent can do a move and have its active frames go, and complete, and then during the recovery frames of that move, he can get ulted or Dragon Punched.
Right.
So there's this gigantic block of time where Sim can't really press a button. And that makes playing the counter hit game against Sim a lot better than it usually is. Most characters can't do it that great because their moves just aren't that active. They don't have the best range, whatever.
Right.
But now that's not the case anymore. Effectively, everybody's range is bigger. Everybody's active frames are effectively longer because they can cancel into this stuff. Man, this game is not made for Sim. It is not. It is not.
This is definitely not Dalsum's game.
No.
Okay, see, I just did it again, so, except I guess I didn't hit 3 kicks.
But, you know, the more I think about it, with the exception of it forcing everybody to learn the game at a much deeper level than we have now, to play at high level, with the exception of that, I don't hate it, to be honest.
This option select?
Yeah.
I think it's too easy to bait out and get people... I mean, it's going to... I was trying to think of the moves that are going to be the most painful, but...
Okay.
Anyways, go ahead and finish your thought first, and then I'll get back to that. So.
My thought is that it has to be used... There's a mix-up whenever you use it. Not whenever, but in a lot of cases when you use it, because it can be baited by things. Even if you're using it at a range where jab won't do it, neutral jump roundhouse or whatever, focus
right.
can both activate it. And it also requires that you know exactly the right ranges. There's execution required in it, so it has a lot. You have to know everything. Like I said, there's a lot of stuff that goes into it that makes me think that it's not. I was gonna say not broken. It's definitely a symptom of a broken game.
Yes,
but that said,
yes.
as far as for competition, I don't think it's broken.
Right. So,
really good.
I kept thinking about it, and the way that I was thinking about it is, what are the moves that can abuse this the most? First one that came to my mind was EX Seismo. Right? EX Seismo would be a really great one because you throw out a move, someone tries to counter you, it tracks, it'll hit you, and even if I mistime it, there's really barely anything you're going to be doing to a whiffed EX Seismo as much, right? But now let's think about someone like Seth or Bison and teleport. Right? If you do low forward and teleport and do it every single time, backwards teleport, if someone fails the whiff punish, you're going to teleport. They can't cancel that move, they just whiff punish. So they're not hitting you, and then you get away with a teleport. If they uppercut, you teleport and you can punish them probably, or something. You know, it's a defensive thing, right? It's a more defensive option. You're not using it to counter them. It's just like, you can't hit me in the last 5 frames of my normal move recovery anymore, right? So, I don't know. It seems kind of good for them, potentially. There was a couple of other moves, kind of like Viper's EX Seismo, that I thought of, and I haven't thought of some of the other... I can't remember what other ones, because I just really precursorily went through all the characters and looked at them.
I can imagine a lot of this stuff being pretty useful. Let's see. So, maybe Blanca not so much. Maybe Cammy definitely, for sure.
Right.
Chun... I mean, you got to have charge in the first place for a lot of
for her, Hazanshu might actually work.
Hazanshu could be useful
because then if someone pokes you, just go over their limb and kick them on the head, right?
That's a good point.
And you can't really punish it, so
I can see that.
Yeah.
You said we saw one application for Cody with his Ultra 2. That's pretty nice. Viper EX Seismo. EX Seismo does have a pretty big startup.
Dude, what about Jury? What about her counter?
Like, what about her counter?
You do her counter, so if someone sweeps, you would hit it and teleport behind them and punish them, maybe, or something like that.
That could be pretty sick. That could be pretty sick. Dan, I like EX Dan Kick. I think that's pretty useful.
And he can do it on Ultra 1,
Ultra 1 as well.
Yeah, but unfortunately, like you put it on Twitter, it doesn't armor break.
It armor breaks if you're point blank.
Does it? It actually does.
You got to be nose to nose, man.
It actually armor breaks. I thought it just didn't armor break at all. Oh, wow. Okay.
But if you're any farther than that, then it won't. And that's where people will be standing, by the way. DJ, again, you have to have charge, but I do think that EX Sobats could actually be pretty sick.
Oh, yeah. Actually, someone just linked me a video. I saw this while I was grabbing dinner.
Okay.
Someone did it with Cammy's Counter Ultra.
Yeah.
Like, right when the guy, like right next to the guy and stuff. Like, obviously, if they do wake up reversal, they beat you, right? But,
right.
You know, if you just happen to be poking them.
Oh, man.
Like, you walk up and go, like, low short, and then you do it.
Like, she needed better frame traps, right?
Yeah,
like,
I know, right? And then if you try to reverse short her, she'll come out with Ultra all of a sudden, so...
So, for Dalsum...
Teleport is the only thing I can think.
It's not that great because he can't really be put into if you're standing where you want to stand as Sim, the opponent can't put you into proxy block. Right. It's only if things are going badly.
But here's an interesting question. What if you're a Filipino champ, right? And let's say you're standing at a range that jabs and shorts will not trigger it, but fierces and roundhouses will trigger it, right? If you stand at that range and do like crouching medium and then teleport behind them, the only way it'll come out is if they throw out a fierce, and if they throw out a fierce, you should be able to recover in time to get away.
Okay,
so
actually,
if you're in the corner, but you have to know that range.
Right.
You have to know the range where generally fierces and roundhouses trigger it.
Right. So maybe you can do like down back strong, option select, teleport.
Right, into forward teleport. And then if they try to poke you with like a Cammy stand roundhouse, you just teleport behind her or something like that and then get out of the corner maybe.
Okay. I can see that. I can see that being pretty useful actually. I like it. Dudley, I can see like ducking being useful, Ultra being useful, maybe EX machine gun being useful depending on the move. Honda, I guess headbutt, but again, you gotta have charge, and I just don't know if that's very important.
Right.
For El Fuerte, maybe Ultra 2.
Yeah.
Or I guess Ultra 1, I don't know, depending on the situation. Evil Ryu. I don't know, Ultra, I guess?
That's the only thing I can think.
Yeah.
Maybe him teleport too, but then again, him and Akuma teleports are not very good,
Faye's an interesting case. So I can imagine this being both good and bad for Faye. You showed an example of his meaty options. It can be pretty good for his own footsies, right? So I can imagine like crouching strong, option select Rekka.
Yeah.
Could be pretty good. At the same time, I feel like this blows up Faye just doing a Rekka. It makes, even as it kind of buffs his own footsie game, it makes it also worse because he can't Rekka in the same way, he can't do his normals in the same way.
I was doing a test with Ibuki's EX neckbreaker, right? And I have a funny feeling the Rekka will have the same problem. There's no invincibility frames. And so basically, since the first active frame is going to trigger it, most likely you'll end up wrecking into their move and just getting hit. You know what I mean? Unless you're far away enough, right? Unless they throw out like a move that just, perfectly, and it just like chases their recovery and hits them. But for the most part, I don't think it's going to work too well. I'll do some tests on it right now just for fun while we're talking. So.
Okay. Let's see, other characters. Gen, I guess Ultra. Right? I mean,
could you possibly do it with a hand slap?
Well,
that'd be super hard to do.
That would be pretty tough.
Shin would be able to do it.
I wouldn't. Yeah, I don't want to put it past anybody. But would it be that useful, really? I mean, you move forward a little bit when you do hands, but
right.
I don't know if it's.
Yeah, it wouldn't be that useful.
I don't know if it's that great. Goken, again, Ultra 2 could be good. I don't know if Rush Punch really would be. It's got a little bit of invincibility in the middle of it, but I don't know if that'd be very good. Guile, Ultra 2, Sonic Boom maybe. I don't know. I guess one of the things you got to think about too is what the character normally pokes around with. I mean, if the character pokes around with standing moves primarily, then they're not going to be able to use this as well as if they poke around with crouching moves because this is crouching.
And the other problem with a character like Guile too is if you sit here and do it all day, you're just going to lose charge constantly. right? If
Yeah,
you're
that's
doing
true.
low strong sonic boom, option selecting, then someone jumps at you, you're like, crap, I'm not charged up for flash kick anymore.
For sure, yeah, that
again, once again, bad for charge characters, you know,
Right.
like everything else in the world. So
Yeah, this game is not good for charge. Remember when people thought charge characters were good in Super? We were such idiots.
well, they were decent in Super, but
They
I
were
think
not
it just
tops. No.
they were better than they were in they were better in Super than they were in any other iteration
I
of
think
this
we
game.
were just playing it wrong. I mean, also they were buffs and later nerfs and stuff. That is true, but I think we were just playing the game wrong. I think nowadays they would get eaten. I really do. Guy.
That's so sad.
I don't know about Guy. I guess Ultra again.
Guy,
I mean,
EX run.
Yeah, but it's just I don't see you doing the buffer for EX run and then like what do you do after that?
Stop.
You react to your run every time.
Run stop and then
I don't know if you could really react to your run like that
not.
every time.
I guess not. Okay.
Hakan I think is good with slide. I think that's pretty nice.
Ultra 2 is also pretty decent to wake up uppercuts.
Yeah,
and
for
stuff like
meaty
that.
options, there are probably some moves that will lose to light kick DDT too. So that's good. Ibuki, you mentioned neckbreaker not being that great actually, huh?
I mean, it won't beat normals, but it'll be really good against people you think are going to fireball.
That's true.
So it'll work really well on fireballs.
Okay.
In fact, I was even triggering it from a screen away by throwing fireballs at her, and then she would end up rushing for it.
Yeah,
It just wouldn't reach, though.
As the fireball goes, its proximity blocking box moves along with it.
It's kind of funny because we've come up with hit boxes, right?
Yeah.
And then the opposite, people just came up with this term called a hurt box.
Yeah.
Now we need to come out with some new term for this stupid yellow box that, like...
It's proximity box. Proximity box.
How about block box? Right? We got the hit box, the hit box, the hurt box, and the block box.
I don't know. I kind of like proximity box.
Let's just call it the boom blocks. How's that?
You just want to make something
the
just
boom
completely
box.
unrelated.
The boom box. To name it after like the Prox box. I like that. So.
Prox box is cool.
Prox box.
That's nice.
Cool. Let's call it the Xbox One. The stupidest name possible.
Wow. James. Jury, I do like that idea of a counter. I think that's pretty cute. I think that's pretty cute. Ken, I don't know, I guess Ultra 2 is not even that good. It's pretty slow. Maybe Ultra 2. Depends on the button. You know, maybe just Fireball. I don't know. Fireball actually might be pretty good. You know?
I cannot get this thing to work with Faye.
You're not getting it with Faye?
Dude, I cannot get it to work.
Makoto, we already talked about some meaty applications for her.
Whatever.
Bison, you talked about teleport usage. Oni. Again, I kind of do like this idea of Fireball, actually, because that if you don't have any better options, you're pretty much going to get that Fireball, and even if you throw it at that range, if the opponent's at a range where they can get over the Fireball on reaction, I don't know how that would work because they're already at least whiffing a jab.
Yeah. So here's the thing, right? It depends. So for a character like Ryu, they stick their leg out. You might actually hit their leg before the fireball comes out. But for a character like Gouken or even Oni, right? Because they both kind of do that thing where they don't, stick their leg out.
Right.
So it might work for those characters better than more than other characters. So.
Okay. Again, though, Oni doesn't really poke around that much with crouching moves.
Oh, that's true.
Which might be an issue for him.
Yeah.
Rose, she does poke around with crouching moves a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, she has slide. She has crouching strong.
Dude, can you
Buffer
imagine
into EX Soul Spiral?
Because slide is already pretty tricky to punish at a lot of ranges, and everybody tries. And before, all she got was just a backdash to escape.
Right.
But now you might be able to EX shawl them, or something like that. So.
Rufus, I don't know, maybe you pick Ultra 2 again. EX Messiah, maybe.
Yeah,
I
that's
don't know.
true, huh? Oh, EX Galactic Tornado.
Galactic, maybe.
Because then you would vacuum them in, right?
Okay.
You would suck them in.
Okay.
So.
Ryu, Ultra seems like a good option. Fireball seems like an okay option. Just depends probably on the situation. Sagat, probably Tiger Knee. EX Tiger Knee, maybe.
Yeah.
Seth is really good with this, I think. I think Tandon is really really good.
Oh yeah.
Because this if you're in footsies using this, that's where Tandon wants to be anyway.
Right. Exactly.
And maybe EX legs too could be good. I think that's really good.
Plus, like I said, teleport might be a good one too.
Teleport also.
Like Oh, but it wouldn't work with Standing Fierce because that's a standing move, and we haven't yet proven if we can do it on crouching.
Oh yeah, he doesn't really use crouching moves that much, so maybe that sucks. So, T-Hawk does use some crouching moves, but he pretty much just has Spire. It's pretty much his option here. So I don't know if that's that great. I feel like the meaty attack is probably better with Ultra 2.
Right, his SPD doesn't have great range like Zangief Jab SPD, right? So he wouldn't be able to do it in that situation. So.
Right. Vega, again, you gotta have charge for this.
Flip.
Maybe you do flip. I don't know. That doesn't sound all that great. Yang? Maybe you do Dragon Punch.
How invincible is his teleport at the start of it?
Teleport, I don't know. But I can figure it out right now because I got the frame data already up. Because that's how I do it.
That's right.
I don't know what his teleport's called. Do you? It's not Torzon. I know what that is.
I think it's...
Senpo Tension is the grab.
Is it the Byakko Shosoda?
It's probably this one that doesn't have any hitting frames.
Oh yeah, that's the Kaiho. There it
11
is.
to 15 frames. 11 to 15 are invincible for light kick. Each one of them has invincibility frames, but only during the middle, which actually might be okay if you're at a range.
Yeah, if the move whiffs. Yeah,
if you're at a range,
for sure.
Yeah. Yun, probably lunge punch is your best bet. No, maybe shoulder. Maybe ultra. Zangief, probably jab SPD and EX hand both sound pretty solid to me. And as a media attack, well, I guess actually Ultra 2 really wouldn't work that well for him as a media attack because he's got to jump to make that happen.
Yeah, see, so, I mean, some people are asking, like, different questions and stuff like that. I mean, we don't know if it works after special moves. We don't know if it works after dashes or focuses or whatever, all sorts of craziness. Yeah, we only know it works after normals.
Yeah.
So that's the only thing. And apparently, so far, we only know it works after crouching normals, which is really strange.
Right.
So, okay.
Yeah, it is weird.
Yeah.
Now, one thing that I do want to test is how this works if both people do the Proxios at the same time.
Well, no one can trigger anything, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because there's no active frames. Once the active frames go away, that yellow bar disappears.
But here's what I'm thinking. So I'm thinking for example, both Camis do crouching medium kick, option select, drill. All right.
Okay.
Cami 1 does crouching medium kick with the drill hidden. Cami 2 then does crouching medium kick, which triggers the drill. Right. But then does the drill trigger the drill?
Oh yeah. I mean, it would if the low forward ended fast enough.
Right. Yeah. I guess that's the issue.
Which probably won't.
Maybe you pick a faster move than that. Maybe you pick crouching short.
Yeah. If I did crouching short to trigger yours, I might be able to counter yours with mine.
Right.
Dude.
Right.
Now we're getting way too crazy.
Right.
So.
Yeah. So that's what I'm thinking about. Yeah. More OSception definitely. Now, Skinny Coder on Twitter asks about that Prox Block OS. Could it also exist in Cross Tekken? Probably. It's built on the same game, man.
That's a really good question.
It probably works. Dude, you want to turn on Cross Tekken right now?
Maybe after the break.
Okay, let's do it after the break. Yeah. Sounds good. So I think that's about all we know about it so far.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean...
Hard to say how it'll really be used in competition, but I know, like I said, that Alyun is using it. He has been practicing it. He's going to be at Capcom Cup. And those guys are very techie guys.
Oh, yeah.
The people who made it are techie players.
I mean, that's one of my favorite things about Street Fighter is that you have the Yomi players versus the techie players versus the, just so many different kinds of players. But in this game right now, with the amount of technology we're discovering, it's favoring the techie players right now. And again, it's not anything a fault of the way Street Fighter 4 was designed. I see a lot of people being very mad at Street Fighter 4 because it's so option select heavy. But every game is option select heavy if you really know what it is. It's just that this game happens to have enough systems. There's two things, right? This game has enough systems in it, and two, what I really honestly think a lot of it comes from is that the game was built to be played online. So reversal codes are 5-frame windows. That there's that weird property where you can cancel the first frame of a special move into another special move. So that's what allows the armor cancel, the weird other stuff that we saw. All that stuff, I'm sure. Plinking is another one. I'm sure all of that is designed for online. If it hit things 2 frames apart, or if it shows up,
makes sense.
Stuff like that.
Totally makes sense.
it's really just taking advantage of a lot of things that were tried to be built into the game to make it more playable for everybody. So,
but like you said, option selects are in everything. They
Yeah.
were in SF2. They were in Third Strike. In SF2, if that game were to come out now, we would be using option selects. The reason that we don't is because we're old and we're not going to learn new tricks, basically.
So remember how I said there's a hyper fighting machine in my arcade, right?
Yeah.
I would do the jump forward throw against my friend's Balrog with Ken.
Okay.
And what he actually would do was reversal turnaround punch to make it my jump kick go through, and then I would get all confused, and then
Okay.
So I actually started using option selects. I did jump roundhouse uppercut and then walk up throw.
There you go.
And if he did turnaround punch, I landed an uppercut at him. So immediately, because I know they have a name and I know they exist, I was able to apply it instantly as a counter to a strategy he was doing without without a YouTube video, right?
Yep.
So
That is how this progression has gone. As we've
Yeah.
learned more about fighting games, we have developed all this like body of knowledge that we can apply. And that didn't exist at the start because there was a new thing. and that's no strike on the people who are playing the game.
Right.
That's just how things go. You learn more over time, and you can apply it to new situations and old.
T-Hawk's not going to go from worst character in the game to like top 3 in Super Turbo without option selects, right?
Right.
So there you go.
Yeah, that guy has option select grab if you're grabbable, or invincible dragon punch if you're not grabbable.
Yeah, it's like some weird like Omega crazy code, and it's pretty ridiculous.
So,
So.
I'm not against it. I figure it'll probably get patched. Probably something they're gonna do.
I hope they get rid of it before Ultra comes out. So.
Because, like I said, I don't have any problems with it as far as top-level gameplay goes.
Mm-hmm.
It just makes the barrier to being a top player way higher than it used to be.
Yeah, that's true. And it's a concept that a lot of players I've heard, actually a lot of old school players, they're frustrated is that having smart reads is starting to lose the option selects, and it's frustrating to them in a lot of ways.
Different style of play now, man.
Yeah.
We know, like I said, we know more about the situation. It's foolish to act like it's the same as it used to be. That has happened in everything, man. If a modern football team, if a modern football coach went back 100 years and had the same players from 100 years ago and coached his way as the people coach now, destruction.
Yeah.
Okay, it's a blow up because people have just grown to know more about things, and it's played differently as a result.
Yeah. I mean, before a lot of like the hand checking rules and stuff like that in basketball were implemented, like you would watch a Miami Heat versus New York Knicks game and it would end 53-56. Like, it was ridiculous how good defense got within the rules. So they had to change the rules. So, that's just the way it works, right? Evolution of the competition, right?
Yep.
So
That's how it goes.
Everyone will find every way possible to break everything they can.
That's right. Okay, well, let's take a break.
Yep.
We'll be back in just a bit.
Okay, hang on a second. We can zoom over to Phalome here doing craziness here. Watch him slowly, strong Ryu to death. Okay, we'll be back.
Ah!